Hey friends, happy Wednesday, the 27th of October. I'm Father Bill Hill, one of the priests at Holy Spirit Catholic Community in Rock Springs, Wyoming. It's nice to be with you today. I'll give you a video reflection on the readings, and then I invite you to read the link on the side, goes to the American Catholic Bishop's website, read the readings prayerfully, and then turn off your screen, spend some time with God. Have been doing a parish announcement this week. Hopefully you received a United in God's Love mailing from us, maybe yesterday, maybe today. In it will be a return envelope as well as a commitment card, just asking that folks would prayerfully review that material, reflecting on God's generosity with us, pray for generosity from our parish community, and reflect on that question, how am I being called this year to make a response to God? We'll have a member of our community who will be sharing with us the way that her life has been touched by our relationship, our communion together, and an opportunity for us to make a commitment to God and to each other at Masses this weekend. I will be recording my video from this last weekend, kind of kicking off our United in God's Love mailing, and that probably is going to go live today, Wednesday, so you can check that out as well. Okay, here comes a video reflection on the readings. We have St. Paul's letter to the Romans, and we have Luke's gospel. Maybe I'll start with Luke's gospel, and then I'll give you a couple of things from Paul's letter. This question, Jesus, will many be saved? And this is a question that gets asked even today, maybe not in these words, but people will say, well, I'm a good person, I'm not bad, therefore, there's the underlying, I'm going to be saved, right? This is one of those questions that I suspect that if you pause for a moment and are honest of what's in our hearts, it's one of those questions that exists, right? Not just heaven, hell, eternity, but also value, worth. Where do I stand? I find this interesting, just being mindful of a few weeks ago, Peter would have been asking Jesus, we've given up everything to follow you. And Jesus says, and you will have all of that in the present age and in the life to come with persecutions as well. Here we have a little different. And so this is Jesus talking to a rando, someone who comes up and asks this sort of a theological question. Do notice, Jesus does not give an answer, but he gives motivation, right? Like, focus in. You're asking this question, therefore, strive to enter through the narrow gate. Focus in that if this question is there on your heart, that there's also a desire, a longing, a call that you have received to enter in through the narrow gate. And I just invite you to ask that question, right? What's one thing for me today to respond to the love of God, the call of God, the grace of God, the salvation, the new life that's been offered to me by God? What's one way that I can strive today to enter through the narrow gate? Because clearly, there are lots of people that scroll right past me, right? Oh, priest in a Roman collar. Next, you're here. There's something going on inside of you in relation to God. Pay attention to that. And then ask the question, how's God calling you to respond today? Switching over to St. Paul's letter to the Romans, kind of two parts of this. The first, the Spirit praying within us, and the second part, the call from God. There was a bishop, Bishop Morneau, who wrote a number of different spiritual books, kind of in the last generation of Catholics. One of his expressions that really strikes me and resonates within me: pray as you can, not as you can't. And I oftentimes will hear from folks who are struggling because they think that they need to pray in a certain way, and it's just not working for them. And I think that this passage from Paul reminds us that we are known, we are loved, and our prayer, our relationship with God, our response to God, always is going to fall short. And we can take that on ourselves and pick on ourselves, or else we can see that as an incredible gift, that God is praying within us, that the Spirit is expressing within us in inexpressible groanings, and that we can only call out to God because of the power of the Spirit. And it's in our dependency, it's in our weakness, it's in our inability that God takes care of us. And that is incredible. So I just invite us today, in whatever way that we are responding to that grace of God, to be grateful for the Spirit who moves within us, and to just give permission. Holy Spirit, pray within me, move within me, help me to respond as I'm called. And just leave it there. Don't think that you need to be in some place. Just trust that you are where you are. Second part of this, about the call of God. This has caused great consternation. Paul's teaching on predestination, among many generations of Christians, so that we have Christian people among us who will kind of shrug and be like, yeah, well, God created some people and did not save them, and they are predestined to hell. And others have been saved by God and are predestined to glory. And God's the one that knows. And that is a theme that is woven through Christianity for the last 2,000 years, coming from some of these statements of Paul. I'm one who does not enter into a lot of disputes, especially theological disputes. There are other people who prefer that much more. I find this to just think about the context. Paul's writing to a community that he doesn't know. 20, 30 people in a city, Rome, of 1 million or 2, the capital, the center of the world. They can feel so insignificant, so unnecessary. And he's reminding them that their call is absolutely pivotal, that the creator of heaven and earth, the redeemer of everything, knew them and needed them, foreknew and predestined them to this call to glory, to not think that they were insignificant, nobodies. We think that they were probably women and slaves and lower classes, especially in these first couple of generations. Paul reminds them that they might be insignificant in the eyes of the world, but they are absolutely pivotal in the way that God is bringing things to bear. And indeed, that is the history of the last 2,000 years. So I wouldn't get too hung up on this question of predestination, except to root ourselves in that place where we are known, we are loved, we are called. God desires that we would respond to this grace with love, with hope, and with faith. How about you? How are you going to respond to that gift today? Strive to enter through the narrow gate. All right, friend, click the link, read the readings prayerfully, and turn off your screen. Spend some time with God in silence. Let's be praying for each other, but especially pray for folks that are having a hard time these days. God bless you.